weather's a lot nicer than yesterday. Looks like the sun will stick around today at least. And what did I read today? Apparently there was an injury where someone used their drone for fishing, and it made me wonder, was this drone actually designed to do fishing or did they just improvise with it? This one says 14-year-old boy injured by fishing drone blades at Dania Boat Pier where drone use is prohibited. It made me wonder what that statement there, whether or not people will use this way to justify, yep, you should ban them all and so forth. This one says rescue crews took a 14-year-old boy to the hospital after he was injured by the propeller blades of a fishing pier in Dania Beach that prohibits the use of drones. Speaking with 7 News on Sunday, James said he comes to the Dania Beach fishing pier on a regular basis, but Sunday morning's fishing trip suddenly turned into a nightmare. Witness said the teen was flying the fishing drone, which helps bring fishermen's hooks closer to the fishes, when he was badly cut as he was flying the drone back to him. According to the Broward Sheriff's Office, when deputies arrived at the beach at around 9 a.m., they found the teen suffering from multiple lacerations. He basically tore his wrist and finger up, said James. Just a lot of blood gushing, just a lot of blood. Most of the remains of it was washed away, but there's still a lot of it on the floor. Well, that's a gruesome sight. Says James said he and others at the pier immediately took action to render aid. A few people stopped and he took his shirt off and we tied it up, and then after that we called 911, he said. Paramedics with Broward Sheriff Fire Rescue transported the injured teen to a nearby hospital for treatment. James says the 14-year-old was from out of town. In addition to their warnings to not fly the drone, the pier has multiple signs stating drones are prohibited, saying, quote, "It's illegal to do a lot of things out there, but he snuck it under his cooler." The Federal Aviation Administration does investigate unauthorized drone operations. A spokesperson released a statement that reads in part, quote, "Drone operators who conduct unsafe operations that endanger other aircraft or people on the ground could face fines that exceed $30,000. In addition, we can suspend or revoke drone operators' pilot certificates." Again, it makes me wonder what the heck was he flying, and it makes me wonder too, with the way they wrote this, can you imagine that you injure yourself using your own equipment? It's like your own negligence or whatever, yet you'll be fined for that as well, like in this case anyways. It says, as for James, this was not what he expected to encounter on a quiet Sunday that turned out to be anything but, saying, quote, "I was just trying to enjoy my day fishing, that's all. I wasn't really expecting it," he said. The teen is expected to be okay. So what would you think in this case? I would think it's just one of those situations where someone, for whatever reason, they weren't using their equipment, I guess, properly. It could be anything else. I do remember some other stories where people attach things, for example, to save pets. Like there was a story saying about the dog rescued from drowning after a sausage dangled from the drone in Hampshire, which again makes me wonder, was it just like a regular drone and they just attached a line to it versus one that's actually dedicated to fishing and all that? And with that war still going between Ukraine and Russia, apparently this is making people worried, as the fear is if this keeps going on, countries will start using nuclear weapons. And this one says Russia plans nuclear drills while threatening to strike UK military targets in Ukraine and beyond. Moscow has said that it could launch strikes at British military targets inside Ukraine and elsewhere if Kyiv's forces use British-supplied long-range missiles to strike Russia. The statement issued by the Russian Foreign Ministry came after British Foreign Secretary David Cameron said during a visit to Ukraine that Kyiv absolutely has the right to strike back at Russia. He also said that London did not put caveats on how Ukrainian forces use weapons supplied by Britain. The Russian Foreign Ministry announced it had summoned the UK's ambassador in Moscow, Nigel Casey, and warned him that if Ukrainian forces use British-supplied weapons to strike Russia, Moscow could hit any UK military facility and equipment on Ukrainian territory and beyond. Russia earlier announced that it was planning new nuclear weapon drills, citing threats issued by Western leaders including French leader Emmanuel Macron and British officials. Russian forces currently occupy several regions of Ukraine, and the Kremlin has claimed to have annexed them and that they are part of the Russian territory. Well, nobody wins again if people go all out in a nuclear war and so forth. So hopefully nothing crazy comes about with this anyways, when people start bombing each other in these ways. See you guys later.